Hey everybody, I got my 37 Chevy Coupe Pro Mod finished, so I figured I'd make a video and show it. So there it is. I'm not as happy with it as I hoped to be, and it seems like this always happens, something goes wrong, but I mean, sitting on the shelf I think it really looks cool. I love the paint, and I got this paint scheme off of a Google search. I found a 37 Chevy Pro Mod, and it was the same design, but it wasn't the exact same colors. So, I kind of put my own spin on it. But I think that part came out really nice. But my windows gave me a little bit of trouble. And then when I glued the body on with super glue, I think the fumes from the super glue went up and contaminated and fogged a couple of the windows. So I had to take some windows out and make new ones and put them in, and I got them in. But the main disappointment is the fact that it doesn't sit on four wheels. And I had that suspicion because when I put those rear wheels together, the first one I put together a little bit wrong and it was kind of offset, and I had a suspicion that this was going to happen. And I almost tried to break the wheel off and then super glue it back, and then I just decided to heck with it. It's only going to sit on the shelf, and probably if I don't point it out, maybe you won't even notice, but this rear wheel is the one that's off the ground. If you go, you can see it's not a whole lot, but it's enough that it kind of annoys me. But like I said, when it's on the shelf, you're never going to see it. So overall, yes, I'm happy with it. I like the paint. I'm not sure I liked what I did with the grill, and that was I had some slicks grill pattern decals, and I just cut out a shape similar to like a streamlined 37 or 38 Chevy coupe and put it on there, just kind of to break it up in the front. So hindsight, I'm thinking maybe I should have left it off and just left the paint, but it's too late now, so I gotta live with it because it's under the clear. But the rest of the decals are just pretty much things I had left over in my inventory. So I'll pull the front end off and let you see the underneath. And this is that 3D printed engine that I bought from Flashpoint Resins. I think it came out pretty good. It's a tight fit to get everything in there. And I'm also not happy with that firewall area. Something twisted there. I guess, in theory, I think it would fit under the front end. I could make like a filler panel for on here. But again, it's going to sit on the shelf with the front end on it, so nobody's ever going to see it except me. I mean, nobody sees any of my cars except me and what I put on YouTube and Facebook. So I think I'm going to just call it done and leave it alone. But I made some wire looms on this one, which I don't often do. Inside, I might as well have left that blank because you can't see nothing in there, which I knew, with the small windows like that. I made all my shifting rods and stuff for the Lenco, and you don't see any of them. I mean, even if I get close, I don't think you can see anything in there. Yeah, even looking in the windshield, I can see it a little bit, I guess. But the bottom side is, most of the pieces of a Revell Oldsmobile Pro Stock, which the scratch built tubing part, the floor pan is the Olds Pro Stock that I modified. So it's crude here and there, and I had such high hopes for it, but that happens all the time. My high hopes always get dashed. But it'll look okay on the shelf. And see, I have these little forks in here to line up the front end, so we'll stick that back. And then I have the magnets that hold it in place. And this gave me a little trouble too. I had to actually add styrene to the both pieces there, the front end and the main body. But it tightened up the fit, so I'm kind of liking that I did that rather than leave the big gap. Oh, let me get back in frame here. I like the wheels and tires. They're also 3D printed from Flashpoint resins, and I think they're really cool. So that's about it for that. I'll just give a quick update on the bench here. Bear with me for a second. I'm working on this Taurus that I'm turning into a Tempo, or trying to turn into a Tempo, and scratch building chassis here. That's a resin floor pan from a Revell Pro Sportsman, but it was too short, so I ended up taking two and cutting them, and this was one of my resin castings with a lot of holes in it, so I added styrene to fill everything in. Once I get sanding and puttying and stuff, and you won't see any of that. And I was going to use the original frame rails that go with it, but from my calculations, what I found with where the engine placement was, I would have actually had to, I think, lengthen the frame rails and then cut the A-arms off and move them back. So I just decided, rather than sacrifice one of those frames, I would just make my own and put everything where I need it to be. So it might work out. I mean, I think I can make it work somehow. And the body, I just sealed with some urethane clear because it's a maroon plastic. And then I put some primer over it. And no, I'm not putting fender skirts on the front. Just that the wheel openings were too big. I mean, if you take a tire and you look at, I don't like all that gap in the front and back of the tire, and the real car that I'm trying to duplicate didn't have that big of an opening. And considering I'm making a Tempo from a Taurus, I gotta change what I gotta change. And the body is still very rough. I'm hoping I can make it look presentable, but I don't know. Time will tell. I made this, I don't even know if that's visible here or not. There's a body line right here. I kind of carved that in. The front had it, but I had to carve the back to match the Tempo and change the taillight shape and change the window shape. And, this was a four-door to begin with, so I believe, yeah, I cut the roof. I think I moved the roof forward. Yeah, there's a filler panel. I did this a while ago, so I kind of forget what I did. But there's a filler panel that I lengthened the trunk and moved the roof forward. Filled in the door lines, and I'm scribing my own door lines. I'm going to fill in the door handle because it's too far forward, I think, with the new door line. So I got my work cut out for me, I know. But we'll just see what happens. That's basically my update for now. Don't have much else going on. So wish me luck. I'm going to need it. All right. Thanks for watching.